am so excited for the Real Housewives of Orange County to be back. Yeah,
I love how excited people get. I don't get that excited.
This season, it does look like we're going to see more of the family life.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because you can never predict what's going to happen when you start filming. And a lot of times, you know, we reflect on things that happened in our family in the past, or we talk about things, or like, you know, I'll talk about my fertility journey, but it was like years ago, but I'll talk about it. You know, a lot of things going on in my family with my husband and marriage and our kids. It was just happening in real time. And so it was hard for me to manage all of it and to film, but to also be authentic and talk about what was going on, but also manage things at home at the same time. I struggled a lot. There were multiple times where I thought, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I didn't know if I needed to make a phone call and say, I don't know if I can continue this season. Just because at the end of the day, I always have to make sure that my kids and family come first. And I've always said that, you know, so, but I think together we managed to make it through. So
because it was hard. Okay, so it was hard, but what made you go through with it then?
There were several times where I went to Shannon and I was like, I don't know if this is the best thing. Like, maybe I should quit and, you know, maybe I need to be home. And he said, well, you can do whatever you want, but you have to realize that, you know, I don't know if it's better for him, my son, that you just kind of are with him all the time. Like, I don't know if that's helping. And then, you know, I had to think about, you know, there's a lot of women that work and, you know, so that's what we do and that's our choice. And the show, you know, is mine and it makes me who I am. I feel like it defines a part of me and I enjoy it. And, you know, it's how I contribute to the family. And I didn't know if I took that away, does that make me a better mom? I don't know. Probably not.
And I do think too, I think the big importance of reality TV, it's like, okay, yes, there's drama. Yes, there's fashion. Yes, there's stupid shit. But also like you dealing with that stuff, hard stuff. People are going to watch that and relate to it. And that's going to make them feel maybe better in their situation because they can relate to you. And that's the importance of reality TV.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's the takeaway. I worried a lot also about how honest I was about what was going on with my children, because on one hand, as a mother, you clearly want to protect your children. On the other hand, I thought it was so important to be authentic and real about what was going on, because I feel like that's our purpose when we're filming the show, that we're presenting our lives in such a raw and, you know, an open way that people can see themselves in us. And I just hope that I didn't do anything that was detrimental to my child.
I'm sure you did not.
Yeah, because, you know, I worry sometimes because, you know, all the moms at a school watch the show. And I worry, am I being too honest and open about what's going on? And then they have a conversation with their children and then their children go to school and say something to my, you know, I worry about those things. So on one hand, it was a struggle between being very open and also wanting to protect my son at the same time. So.
And if you don't mind me asking, and I know we'll see it on the season, but what is going on with your son?
So many things. And that's what I didn't know. I think that's why Shane and I struggled so much too as parents, is there wasn't we didn't know what it was. We didn't know what the problem was. We did a lot of testing with him over the course of filming, and we got a lot of diagnoses. I don't know what the plural is of that. Is that like fungi and fungi? I don't know. But anyway. And, you know, we were trying to figure it out, and I don't know if we've figured it out. I still feel like he needs a lot more. He's very complicated. He's very complex. You know, Shane has 2 children, then we have 3 together. So there's 5 kids altogether. And Luke is very challenging compared to the other 4. And so Shane and I had to do a lot of therapy to understand how to parent him and to be better for him, because we couldn't parent him the same way we parent the other 4. And so it was a process. It was a lot. We're still learning. He's much better, but I also worry about when school starts, because I don't know if he can handle it. I don't know if he needs to be in a special school. I don't know. We're just trying to figure it all out.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
One step at a time. And you being so open and vulnerable, because maybe on the catch side, someone who's going through that might reach out to you and give you some advice.
Yeah, and you know, that's very interesting that you say that, because that's very true. Anytime I've had something going on in my life that I've struggled with, where I've shared, you know, so many people reach out and DM and say, oh my gosh, you know, my child went through this and this is what it was, or this or that. And people are so helpful.
Yeah.
And, you know, we get a lot of crap from the audience.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even look at Twitter because I like to sleep at night.
No, I don't know.
And I don't know why everyone hates me. So I don't even look at Twitter or X or whatever it is now. But I would say being on a reality show and being in the public is also, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, obviously. But some of the really good things is that the people out there really become invested in your life and who you are as a mom and your marriage and your children. And they feel very compelled to share their lives and their journeys. And I learned so much. And so even when he was going through all this testing, I remember thinking in my mind, I'll probably figure this out through the audience more than having, you know, paying all this money for specialists. I'll probably figure it out from the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably will.
Right.
And then you have that community of people that, yes, of course, those haters, like you were saying, but there's people that are so invested and they love you so dearly. So I would imagine while you're going through all of this, and that's the important stuff, all the family stuff, I would imagine all the drama was like, what the hell? Why?
Yeah, there were certain times where, you know, when you're going through something like that, it really puts everything in perspective. And it's like you're listening to an argument between two people that's been going on for like 15 years. And you're just like, this isn't important. And it's not on my radar right now. Like, I'm on this trip, but I'm worried about my son who's struggling at home. And so sometimes it, you know, it was like, you know, rolling eyes, like, really? Like, we're going to do this again. Okay.
I would imagine, though, Gina, your best friend, who I love the two of you dearly, and I know so many fans do as well. I'd imagine she's been very supportive during all of this.
Yeah, she was very supportive, always was asking. I shared a lot with her, you know, and Heather's very supportive too. I will tell you, Gina and Heather are really my go-tos when it comes to kids and marriage and family. And that's not even a show go-to. I'm talking like not even filming a show. Anything going on with my children or even frustration in marriage, Gina is such a wealth of knowledge, and so is Heather. I mean, because Heather's such a great mom.
Yes.
And she and Terry have such an amazing marriage. I think Shane and I do too, but I feel like you can always look to other marriages for inspiration or encouragement or you know, questions. And so, you know, I really respect their marriage. And Heather is so forthcoming about advice and asking about my children and how she can help.
No, I love that. I know in the trailer, you said something about divorce. And of course, everyone is sticking to that. And like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Was that taken out of context, or like while you're dealing with all this stuff with your family, with your son?
No, I did it. You know,
marriage.
When I said it, I meant that was a real concern because what Shane and I were in the trenches during those, you know, 4 months of filming and even afterward. It was very brutal on our marriage. We weren't on the same page. We were parenting differently. We were butting heads. I felt like I was taking things a lot more seriously, and I felt like he was doing more of that, you know, like, it'll be fine, he'll be fine, he'll figure it out. And then that would make me mad. And also our marriage was suffering because we were not able to spend any time together. Shane and I really do date nights every week. We try to do weekend trips together. We spend a lot of quality time together, and things became so hard with Luke that neither one of us couldn't leave. And we couldn't leave him with anyone else. And so we spent no time alone. So it got very hard on our marriage. We were just, every day it was like waking up and just trying to get through the day and struggling and going to bed crying at night and then waking up and doing it again the next day. And I thought, this is either going to make us or break us. And I mean, clearly we're still together. We're not getting a divorce. I mean, we've had challenging things. I mean, we've been married almost 17 years now. So we've had, anyone that's been married that long, they've had challenging times where maybe divorce came up. Maybe they had to talk about it. Maybe they considered it. And I think that's normal. I feel like if you're communicating and you're in it and you're in deep and you're doing the things that you should as a husband and wife, then those thoughts pop up sometimes because that's what happens.
And add a spotlight on your marriage.
Right.
And add the reality show and all the comments. And I'm sure that's not going to be easy. So yeah, I wouldn't watch this season. Yeah, just stick with watching it. Then Shane can give you the clip notes and be like, look, this episode people are going to hate me.
Yeah.
The next episode people might hate you. But everyone goes through it.
Yes.
Like everyone 1,000% goes through it. Besides all of that, which I don't want to like put that in a corner, but like, were you able to have still some fun? You and Gina, maybe the cast trips, like, was it fun? Did you get any levity amid all of this?
You know, I did have a lot of fun, and I would have to say, you know, the cast trips, even though they're hard, and it's hard physically, I feel like I really feel my age.
You're like,
when we go on their cast trips, because I'm like, oh, because there's, you know, you land, and then like as soon as you land, it's like you're off on an excursion.
Yeah.
But no, it is there. We do fun things, you know, and we do have moments where we're cracking. I mean, there is a dinner in Amsterdam where like we just laugh the entire dinner, and it's like times like that where it's like it doesn't have to be toxic. It doesn't have to be a fight every single time. There can be times where we showcase the fact that we're just really good friends and that we're having fun together. And so, you know, there were moments where I just laughed so hard, and, you know, I really love the group of women that we are, even though we're all so different and all so complex, but that's what makes it fun and good and interesting.
And that's what makes OC one of the best franchises, because you are different, you are authentic. And I honestly feel like, at least for some of you, you guys aren't producing yourself, which really comes through the TV. Did you find that anyone did kind of produce themselves this season? Because I feel like we're seeing that in our Housewife franchises. Yeah. I know the fans are hating it.
I would say OC doesn't do that as much as other ones do. And I think that's because OC is the mothership. And so I feel like that sense of authenticity and just being raw and being yourself has just run fluid through OC. Obviously, there's, you know, newer people that come on, and I feel like they don't do as well because they come on later and they've watched Housewives. So they feel like they have to act or say or be a certain way, and it doesn't work and it doesn't last. And they don't last. But I think the cast that we have now, I mean, everyone's been on for a long time at this point. And, you know, Jen doesn't self-produce. I mean, look at her. She's just, like, trying to make it through every day, too. She can't self-produce. She's just authentically herself.
Yeah,
you know? So that works for her. And that, you know, it's good.
What about Katie?
I don't know if that's self-producing or self-sabotaging. So I'll just leave that for the audience to
leave that for our interpretation. Yeah. But I mean, last season, the two of you at the end, and then of course at the reunion, we really butted heads, and it looks like that continues because, of course, the fans know a lot of stuff happened on social media when you guys weren't filming. Where does that go with you and Katie?
It goes to where I tell her what I think. And that she's broken boundaries that are in place that I just can't come back from. And that's where it is.
And talk to me about the boundaries. Like, what are the boundaries?
Well, you know, I mean, I feel like pretty much anything goes on a reality TV, but we do have boundaries where it's like we don't go after each other's children.
Yeah.
And I even had a conversation with her the last season and the finale you saw. And I felt as if the conversation, I didn't attack her. I was very, you know, like, let's just have an intelligent conversation and rational. It doesn't have to be an attack. And I felt like it was clear, you know, what boundaries were, but, you know, she didn't adhere to that. And the problem is that just like Tamra's a villain, right? Everyone knows Tamra's a villain, but you have to respect Tamra Judge because Tamra's a villain. And she does it well, and she does it on camera. She is who she is on camera, and she's authentic, and you can like her, or you can dislike her, or whatever, but she's doing it on camera. Katie doesn't do that on camera. I don't have respect for people that do deceitful and deceptive things in the dark, behind closed doors, and then sit in front of your face and act like they did nothing wrong. That doesn't work on reality TV. It doesn't work in my life. It doesn't work for me.
So you're saying she's one way here,
right?
And then on TV, she's putting on a whole like an innocent.
Exactly.
Got it. Where Tamra, she doesn't do that.
Tamra is
lover or hater. She does not do that. She's very Tamra.
Right.
Got it. So it's safe to say this season we'll see that with you and Katie, like the ups and downs of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you today?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Katie. I don't have any idea. Does she live in Orange County? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay,
so we'll have to see. Okay, so what about Tamra then? Where do you stand with Tamra? Because I know it's been up and down with you too.
You know, Tamra and I are good friends. I respect Tamra. I think she respects me, and we're friends. She gets I think Tamra is quick to react. Like, she'll get upset if you don't immediately take her side or you don't see her point of view. But that's just Tamra. And, you know, I think we all just kind of navigate around her because we know her so well, and we know that she's going to react, and we know that she's going to get mad, but we know she's going to come back around. And so, I mean, Tamra and I are fine, at least from my viewpoint. I don't know, if you asked her, she might say something different, because I think she was mad about something I said in an article a couple of weeks ago or something. So
Oh God, it's never happening.
I was like,
never.
I was like, girl, you're mad already. I was like, that was like one interview I did a couple of weeks ago. I was like, we haven't even done press yet or watch What Happens Live. I was like,
Or the confessional.
right. I was like, you haven't even seen the show yet. I mean, it was like, maybe you should just save all that.
Oh my gosh. It does seem though that Tamra, at least from last season and the reunion, she was like, I'm really going to try to work on myself. I'm going to therapy. And we see that this season. Do you think we're going to see a different side of Tamra? Maybe a softer Tamra?
I think so. I think, I mean, maybe at this point it's baby steps. Maybe you don't see like a huge transformation, but I do think that she's more self-aware, and that, you know, going to therapy's made her maybe see things from a different perspective. So at the end of the day, she's still Tamra.
She's still allegedly she quits the show at some point.
Allegedly.
Throwing out those lawyer words.
More than once.
More than once. Okay. Does it have to do with Gretchen? Because Gretchen's back.
You know, I don't even remember if it had to do. I call it Gretchers. I don't know if it had to do with Gretchers or not. I just know that I felt like Tamra was different this year, and maybe that was through therapy, because I felt like she was feeling things more than she had before. Whereas before, I feel like she would have been more stoic and more Tamra and more like, I don't give a shit kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like she felt things more deeply and reacted to them more. So I don't know if that had to do with therapy. Like, she was struggling. I felt like she was struggling.
Got it. Well, and of course, the Teddy news.
And that,
you guys find that out like pretty early on in the season. Right. Just heartbreaking.
Right. And she was having a hard time with that, which I understand.
Totally
It's like, because Teddy to her is like Gina to me. So if I'm trying to film a show and Gina's going through something like that, I don't even think I could have done it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have a lot of sympathy for what she was trying to deal with.
And then, of course, we have Gretchen, who's accusing her of cheating on Eddie and all these things.
Yeah, and these accusations, I swear, I mean, like we were talking about earlier about when you put things in perspective because you have real things going on in your family, and then you're talking about accusations that are like over a decade ago, and it's like, can we not fight? Can we move on?
Yeah. What do you think she was trying to do with that?
You know, I found the situation with Gretchen and Tamra to be exhausting. And I felt like it could have been resolved easily, and it just wasn't, and it just lingered. And everything Gretchen accuses Tamra of being and doing, she does the same. So to me, it was just a cycle.
Yep.
Over and over.
Yep. Yeah, that wouldn't be... Yeah, I don't know how I feel about... I mean, I would imagine it was Gretchen better than Alexis' situation coming back.
Yeah, because I felt like Alexis is almost like a cartoon character, you know? I feel like she just, you know, is bonkers and nutty and doesn't even make any sense. Like, could you have a conversation with her that made any sense or had any takeaway?
Totally.
Right. But Gretchen, you can. Okay. So, I mean, I think that's the difference. I find Gretchen to be more reasonable. I mean, she can have conversations. She made an effort to be friends with everyone. So she did a lot of things right. That was different than Alexis. Alexis was just, it's like she came from another planet and they just dropped her in and was like, okay, now you're going to film with this alien.
You and Shannon and Gina got close last season.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys so close this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love Shannon Bedore. I love her, adore her. I mean, even when she and I have disagreements or altercations are like fun, you know, it's never deep because it's just Shannon. I think she knows that I'm genuinely her friend. So if we're having a moment, I think she understands that it's like I'm upset because of something and she gets it, or she got upset with me, I think in Amsterdam, about things that I said, and we worked through them. It actually ended up being funny in the end, and we made jokes about it. And so I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate that you can yell at each other at dinner and be really pissed at each other and then turn it into like a joke and spend the rest of the evening like laughing about it. So
Okay, so if you could describe the new season in a couple words, I kind of hate this question, but I always ask because I feel like that's,
yeah.
it gets you thinking, but like, how would you describe it?
I would say dynamic, fun. The end is shocking
What do you mean?
and uncomfortable. At least it was for me.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah.
Oh, this is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Okay. So the end, I mean, obviously we can't give too much away,
Yeah.
but is it between two people or?
Yeah, but I think we're all just kind of
confused.
sucked into it, and then we all are uncomfortable, and then we all kind of don't know what to do with it.
I have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to piece something
Yeah.
together, but I'm like,
Isn't that
last
good? That's a good cliffhanger,
That's a good
right?
cliffhanger because I mean, last season we had like the Jen, Ryan, and Legality.
Yeah. Yeah.
But something totally different this season.
Totally different.
Okay, that's something good that we can add on because I know I'm not going to get anything out of you, obviously. I'm looking over. No, we're not going to give you anything.